not think my colleagues understood the value of what I was presenting. The first one was the phasing out of combustion engine cars, as we know it, the cars we drive today. The reason I presented the bill is very, very simple. In a few years' time, no country in the world will manufacture these cars anymore. None. They will not be manufactured. So even if the president of Nigeria wanted to buy a car, he'd have to buy a second-hand car. That is a fact. And for this reason, Nigeria must be prepared and understand that the cars we drive today are dinosaurs. It's like anybody giving you a contract to buy a VCR. Nobody's going to buy it. You can make it, nobody's going to buy it. It's an obsolete technology. I wanted Nigeria to be prepared for that day. I think in Norway, 60% of all cars sold today are electric cars. And I give myself as an example. I have been driving an electric car for 7 years, maybe 10 years, the Tesla. I was one of those who bought the very first Tesla when it was manufactured by Elon Musk. And I've been driving it for 10 years. I also drive a Kia Soul, which is an electric car in Abuja. I've been driving that car now for 5 years in Abuja, and I've never had one single mechanical problem. Now, if we pretend to be deaf and dumb or play the ostrich, we're fine. But you cannot destroy Nigeria because you don't understand what I'm talking about. Now, electric cars are here to stay, whether we like it or not. They are here to stay. The Tesla I drive in California, if I am driving between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, halfway through, they have a solar charging station. Solar charging station. Now, if you plug your Tesla to the solar charging station and you waited 30 minutes, you get 100 miles of charge, which is about 130 kilometers of charge in 30 minutes. What we need to do in Nigeria to understand this problem is to replace our filling station with solar charging stations, and for us to have policies that encourage all Nigerians from today buying only electric cars. That is a fact of life. For anybody to invest in a refinery today, it is not a smart business decision, because your refineries will be making petrol that will have no value in 20 years. That is a fact of life. The best option is for oil companies to invest in solar charging power stations to charge your cars. The golf cart, an example, if you go to play golf, the golf cart that you use is solar powered. It's electric. They don't use any gas. It's electric. Now, these are the realities. Now, everything I've said, you can Google, you can search, you can research, you can do all of the above. When I presented this bill, I wanted Nigerians to understand, if you like me, you don't like me, it is irrelevant. In 20 years, there will be no combustion engine cars on planet Earth. It will not be in China, it will not be in India, it will not be in America, it will not be in Europe. They are the ones that manufacture cars. And once that happens, we will end up being the laughing stock of the world. My bill wanted Nigeria to be the first country to guarantee that we leapfrog technology. If you have a sheet of paper, and I'll tell you how an electric car is made. You see, an electric car has thousands of fewer parts than a combustion engine car. An electric car is a metal sheet, 4 tires, a roof over it, a battery, accelerator and a brake, and a computer. That is all it is. Now, which means we in the third world can leapfrog technology by, we don't have the problems that Europe have or America. They've spent billions and billions of dollars making combustion engine cars and factories. All those factories will be obsolete. We don't have those factories. So in other words, if a Nigerian was to make a car today, and we call it a Nigerian car, a student from University of Science and Technology who can invent a battery that will last a long time, that battery is the car. So Tesla, if you Google Tesla, is Tesla a car company or is Tesla a computer company? Because I own a Tesla. What you call the bonnet is for luggage. The one at the back is for luggage. Now, if you look at a car, in the middle you have a hump. In an electric car, there's no hump. It's just flat metal sheet because there are no parts. What do you repair? Nothing. There's no exhaust. There's no engine. You repair nothing. So Nigeria can leapfrog technology, and we can start making electric cars for all Africa. So if my colleagues say no, I can't control that. It's simple majority. The executive under President Muhammadu Buhari should instruct the Minister of Transport to understand that this is the way Nigeria must go. There is no way out. In other words, you know, whether you like it or not, Nigeria, the rest of the world, will only drive electric cars. That is a fact. Now the argument is to say, well, we sell petrol. So what? So what if you sell petrol? Nobody's going to buy your petrol. Nobody's going to buy it. They'll have no value. They'll buy gas, but nobody's going to buy petrol. And you cannot decide to have combustion engine cars here. Where will you get the spare parts? Where will you get the spare parts? Who is going to make it? I drive only electric cars. My white Kia, you see, is called a hybrid. When I'm in traffic, I don't use petrol. It's only when I'm driving that I use petrol. It's very, very economical. Then there's a car called the Volt. My kids own one in California. The Volt is half electric, half combustion engine. So the first 50 miles is electric, then the engine kicks in if you run out of juice. That is the way of the future. Cars can now do 300 miles a charge. That is the reality. Anybody who does not like it, so be it. But the world will change. I am predicting accurately here that in less than 10 years, South Africa is using electric cars now. In less than 10 years, life as you know it today will change. My position is we must lead the charge. If we don't, we're going to be a typical third world nation, and we will just keep following people. And I think Nigerians are the brightest people on earth. And we cannot live in a system where the illiterate rule the literate. And that's where we are going. I will not be led by the illiterate. I will lead from the front as a literate Nigerian. I have many, many electric cars. I have many, many hybrids. I live the life. I'm not telling you some fictional story. Google the Tesla, Google the Kia Soul, Google the Chevy Volt, Google all these vehicles. I own all of them. And I'm telling you, that is the way of the future. It is sad. My colleagues turned against it. That is their problem. But this is where we are. Petrol itself will not go out of business. The demand will drop drastically. Gas will be used across the world. Now, I'm not an expert in that field. But as technology changes, Elon Musk is developing a system. Right now, if I was the president of the country, I would not allow you build a house in Nigeria unless you use solar panels and batteries. That is the future. Why would you need a generator? Why would you need to be connected to the grid? Why would you need cables all over the place? You don't need them. Think about it. You have a solar panel, you have a battery, and that's all you need, and you have your home. All these things are relics of the past. In the end, all this way. The fact that we have petrol, we should enjoy the last 5, 10 years of petrol. That's nice. But the truth of the matter is they'll be obsolete. That allowed it to phase out naturally. You make laws to guarantee there's an even transition. If you say phase out naturally, who in his right, first of all, to phase out naturally, in California, for instance, when I bought the electric car, the state of California gives you a $7,500 tax credit. They encourage you to buy the electric car. It's 0% duty. Here, you pay 70% duty, 6% duty for the cars you import. So you must have a policy to attract you to trade in your combustion engine car to buy an electric car. There must be a tax policy to convert your gas station to a solar-powered charging station. There must be a tax policy that all malls in Nigeria should have free charging. For instance, if you come to Silverbird and you come to watch a movie, I'll give you free charging. You charge your car. When you come to National Assembly, I'll give you free charging. Don't forget, electric cars guarantee that look, let's say you spend 2 million naira buying a Tokumbo car, right? How much do you spend a month maintaining that car and buying petrol? Let me ask you a question. About how much?
I can't say no.
Imagine if that cost is zero. Imagine if that cost is zero. Isn't that cheaper for you? Imagine that every time you come to work, you can charge your car. You're not buying petrol. When you go to the mall, you charge your car. Every time you pay, I don't know, 10 naira to charge your car. Isn't that cheaper for you? Look at police department. We buy them vehicles, we buy them motorcycles, we don't give them money for petrol. You have buildings, you don't give them money to buy diesel for the generator. Imagine if all these buildings all of a sudden have no recurrent expenditure. Your recurrent expenditure is what makes us broke, not the capital expenditure. It's not buying the car that makes you broke. When you have to change your carburetor, when you have to change your fuel pump, when your wiper is not working, when your door falls down, that is how you become broke. Now, the electric car, all those costs are eliminated. So it is cheaper for you to have an electric car. Anytime you are free, I have one, arrange, you can come and drive one yourself, just drive it yourself, drive it. And see what it feels like. Anytime.
Natural resources at very high rates. How would that impact? Yes, we may save a lot of money on gas.
I can answer your question.
But would we be spending much more?
Hyundai, the car they have, and they're testing in California now, they use hydrogen. There are many technologies that can be used other than electric. They use hydrogen cells. So yes, that could be true. But the truth is, you enjoyed your oil for 50 years. Now it's time to move on. You are jealous of somebody who has the mineral that they're going to use to make the battery. When OPEC raised their price and shut down the world, you were enjoying yourself. Now, hey, that's life. That's life. It doesn't matter who benefits from the cell you use to make the battery.
No, the last question I was going to ask. Won't we be losing much more money if
you manufacture your own cars? You manufacture your own cars. The technology is the battery. Right now, the battery is what's in use. Who says a Nigerian could not invent another means of charging the car? Don't forget, it is what gives the car energy, that's all. It could be hydrogen, it could be the battery, powered by the sun. Don't forget, the sun is yours. You're the equator. So the Germans have to wait for summertime to enjoy the sun. You have it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So those arguments that are